Okay, students, so let us begin. Today we are starting with a new physics chapter, that is kinetic theory of gases and radiation. Okay, fine. So as the title of the chapter is, at the starting part of the chapter, we'll be studying about kinetic theory of gases. Okay, fine. Now, see students, at the very beginning, what happened was the structure of atom was discovered. Okay, fine. So there were scientists who discovered the structure, the internal structure of atom, and because of that, a lot of theories came into picture. Okay, fine. And few years later, what happened was the scientists they came to know, or maybe they already knew, or there was a theory proposed that these atoms or these molecules that are there, they are in constant motion, they are constantly moving. Okay, this is something you all already know, but then back then in the year 1873, okay, it was found that these atoms and molecules they are always in constant motion. Okay, fine. So when something is moving, when something is in motion, it is always associated to kinetic energy, right? So if I have to like break down kinetic theory of gases, so the kinetic part stands for kinetic energy, and we are studying about particles or molecules which are constantly moving. Okay, fine. Why kinetic theory of gases? Okay, why we are considering the gaseous state of matter? So the basic states of matter are solid, liquid, and gas, right? And out of these three, which are the molecules, or which is the state in which molecules are very much in random motion? Obviously, uh, in gas state or in gaseous state, right? Yes or no? So in gas phase or in gas state, the molecules or the particles or atoms, they are in constant motion. Okay, fine. That is the reason the kinetic theory we study for gases. Okay, fine. Little bit introduction about this. And if I start from here, okay. Another thing was that kinetic theory of gases. All right. So this all the theory that was proposed or all the papers that were published, they were mainly done by two scientists. That is, one was Maxwell and another one was Boltzmann. Okay. So we'll see if it is written ahead in the chapter. I'm not sure if they have mentioned this. Okay. So let us start. Let me just zoom it in a little bit. Okay, fine. All right. Now, students, in this introduction part, what they have done is they have described about the gas laws, the gas laws that you all have already studied in your 11th standard. Okay, so your Charles law, Boyle's law, Gay-Lussac law, and the ideal gas equation and everything. So, a little bit introduction about all those things. Okay, fine. So, let us start reading. You have been introduced to the three common states of matter, that is solid, liquid, and gas. You have also studied the gas laws, that is Boyle's law, Charles' law, and Gay-Lussac's law. The ideal gas equation can be obtained from these three gas laws. Okay, fine. The volume V of a gas is inversely proportional to the pressure P when temperature is constant. Volume V and pressure P are directly proportional to temperature. So basically, what were the three laws if we just have to recollect? So Boyle stated that volume is inversely proportional to pressure, or I can say pressure is inversely proportional to volume, keeping the temperature constant. Okay, fine. What was Charles' law? Charles' law stated that volume and temperature are directly proportional to each other, keeping pressure constant. Okay. And what was Gay-Lussac's law? Gay-Lussac's law was pressure is directly proportional to temperature, keeping volume constant. Okay. So you all can maybe just mark these three laws. Okay. This is something you all already know, students. All right. But just simply you all can mark it and keep. All right. Fine. And what is the one common thing in these all three laws is that all the three laws, they are applied to fixed mass m of an enclosed gas. Okay, fine. So the mass is going to be fixed. Okay, fine. Now, what is ideal gas equation? Again, something you all already know. Combining the three laws into a single relation for a fixed mass of gas, okay, for a fixed mass of gas yields the ideal gas equation. So if I combine all the three laws, I can get a relation something like this, okay. Using this relation, if you know, I have to compare for two systems. Okay, fine. I think so you all had numericals of these type where some of the quantities of one particular system is given, or for both the system is given, and maybe T2 is unknown of the second system. So you all can use this relation and find out what T2 is. Okay. Expressing the fixed mass of gas in the above three laws in terms of number of moles. Now, because the mass is constant, okay, for all the three laws when we are studying, we have kept the mass of the gas as constant. So how can we introduce that in our relation, in this particular relation, by introducing number of moles, which is given by small n. Okay, fine. So this is the relation that we obtain. And if we remove the proportionality sign, what is going to come into picture? A constant will come into picture, which in this scenario is capital R, which is nothing but the gas constant. Okay, fine. And here, what are number of moles? A student, the small n is nothing but number of moles. And how can we find number of moles? Very simple, the basic formula that is there. Mass upon molar mass. Okay, so using mass upon molar mass, I can find number of moles. Now, students, over here, the molar mass that is there. Okay, now see, this part is important. You all can underline this bracket that is there. And also, you all can mark this formula. Now, in this particular formula, the important part is this one. Small n stands for capital N upon NA. I hope you all, everyone knows what NA is. Okay, NA is nothing but your Avogadro's number. All right, fine. So it is 6 point something into 10 raised to minus 23 units in 1 mole. Okay, fine. So units, it can be anything. It can be molecules or atoms. It depends upon what we are discussing. So here 6.0 into 10 raised to 23 molecules in 1 mole. Okay, of that gas. So molar mass here, what is molar mass, students? Molar mass is the mass of 1 mole of gas. So that 1 mole has 6.0 into the Avogadro number units in it or molecules in it. Okay, fine. All right. Now, if I just move ahead a little bit. Here, proportionality constant R is the universal gas constant. Again, something you all already know. So what you all can do is just simply mark R and the value that is given over here. Okay, fine. So I can mark that. Having the same value 8.314 for all gases. What is capital N over here? Capital N is the number of molecules in the gas. And what is Na? Na is the Avogadro's number. Okay, fine. And it is the number of molecules in 1 mole of gas. Okay, fine. And capital N stands for the total number of molecules and Na is number of molecules in 1 mole. All right, fine. Okay. I hope you all are following till now because these things are something that you all already know, students. Okay, so there is nothing much to explain in this. Just 1 minute. Okay. Now, alternatively, let us move ahead. Alternatively, I can obtain this relation. Okay, you all can see this relation. PV is equal to capital N KB into T, where KB is nothing but the Boltzmann constant. Okay, there's a spelling error. Okay, Boltzmann constant. R and KB are related by the following relation. Now, see, students, I'll tell you all here, the important part is this particular relation that is there. The relation between the gas constant and the Boltzmann constant. Okay, so R is equal to, my gas constant is Na into KB. Now, using this, okay, using this particular relation and using my ideal gas equation that is there, PV is equal to nRT, I can obtain this particular relation. So can anyone tell me how did we how did we arrive at this particular equation? I hope you all understood what are the two relations that we are supposed to use. The first one is PV is equal to nRT, that is my ideal gas equation, and the other one is this particular relation between gas constant and Boltzmann constant. So using, like, you all have to substitute or do some certain substitutions and obtain this. So can you just try doing it in your notebook or maybe somewhere in your textbook and tell me what are the steps that we have to follow? I hope everyone has followed the question. Just 1 second, okay, students? Yeah. Okay, you all have to tell me how did we arrive at this particular equation. They have directly written it, but I want you all to understand how the substitution has been done. Anyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Yatish. Okay, I'll wait for a minute for others to do it. And if you all are obtained or if you all are done, then please let me know. I hope students all have understood what I am asking you all to do. Yes, Shamita, you are supposed to use PV is equal to nRT, that is your ideal gas, and then use this relation that is there. R is equal to Na into Kb. So you all have to substitute one into other or do certain substitutions and arrive to this equation. Okay, see they have directly written. Alternatively, सीधा equation लिखा है. तो ये equation आया कैसे? That you all should know. Yes, students, have you all understood how to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what about others? Why is
Yes, miss.
Yatish answering? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, okay. Tisha, would you like to answer? कैसे आया वो equation ये वाला? Yes, Tisha, please answer and
Yes, ma'am. PV is equal to nRT और बाद में वो दूसरा इक्वेशन है PV is equal to NB NKBT. तो n की जगह वो n into na substitute करने का and we have to divide both the equations and cancel out. We will get r is equal to
okay, okay.
ये
Yeah, correct, correct. No, no, no. See, no, correct. What you said is absolutely correct. See, students, what she told is correct. Okay. Now the thing is that you all are not supposed to arrive at this equation. Okay. See, I give you two equations. The first one is PV is equal to nRT and the second one is this one. Okay, R is equal to Na into Kv. ये दो equations मैंने तुम लोग को दे के रखा है. ठीक है, तुम लोग को क्या करना है अभी? See, what you all are supposed to do is that now, where is it? Okay, see here I have PV is equal to nRT. Yes or no? All right. So here, what I'll do is instead of n, okay, or instead of n, I can substitute n upon na. Okay, or let me just, if I have to explain it in a simpler this thing. Okay. See over here. Just 1 second. I'm not able to mark in this. Okay. Students, you all can see this particular formula. Small n is equal to capital N upon NA. Okay, you all can see this formula, right? So here, what you all do is keep capital N on one side. Okay, keep capital N on one side. So what will happen? I'll get small n into NA, right? Yes or no? I hope you all are understanding what I'm writing. Keep capital N on one side. So capital N is equal to small n into NA. That is my Avogadro's number. Okay, fine. All right. Now, next what I'm supposed to do is that, what is the second equation that I have? My R is equal to Na into Kb, right? So substitute R over here. That is what I was telling. Okay, see, you all have PV is equal to nRT. You all have R is equal to what? Na into Kb. So substitute the value of R in this particular ideal gas equation. So क्या मिलेगा? PV is equal to small n, okay, PV is equal to small n into what was the value for R? It was nothing but Na into Kb, okay, into T. Yes or no? But अभी just मैंने बताया, right? अगर small n into Na क्या है? Small n into Na is nothing but capital N, right? That we get from this particular formula. Yes or no? So instead of that, I'll substitute capital N and that is how I obtain this particular equation. Okay, everyone please let me know if you all understood this, the substitution, how you all are supposed to do. See, the thing is that why I explained this to you all, ये directly memorize नहीं करोगे तो चलेगा. Just remember PV is equal to nRT. You all know the formula for small n. Okay, small n is capital N upon Na and you all have to remember this relation. That is capital R is equal to Na into Kb. So just by doing certain substitutions, you all can arrive at this equation. Okay, everyone please let me know if you all understood this.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
miss.
Okay, fine.
Yes, miss.
Okay, good.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
okay, good, good. So let us move ahead. The laws of Boyle, Charles, and Gay-Lussac are strictly valid for real gases only if the pressure of the gas is not too high and the temperature is not close to the liquefaction temperature of the gas. Okay, fine. Now see students, here, now please pay attention. I'm going to explain you all something, or maybe this is something that you all already know. Okay. All these laws that are developed, These laws are based on ideal gases. Okay, fine. All the laws, Charles law, Boyle's law, Gay-Lussac, and obviously ideal gas equation. The ideal is there in the name itself. Okay, so all these laws are for ideal gases. Now we all know that ideal gas is just a concept. It does not exist in reality. Okay, fine. In reality, we have real gases. Okay, fine. One most important thing about an ideal gas is that there is an assumption there are no intermolecular forces between the molecules at all. Okay, fine. This is a very important assumption of an ideal gas. Okay, fine. That there are no intermolecular forces between the molecules, so the molecules can move here and there freely. Okay, fine. But that is not the scenario in reality, students, because we know that in reality, even in gases, there is some amount of some forces are present. Okay, fine. I hope you all are following till now. So all the gas equations or all the laws that are there, they have been built upon ideal gas. Okay. So now what happens when I apply these laws for my real gases in reality? Okay, fine. So see students, let me just give one small example to you all. Suppose there is Charles law. Okay, so in Charles law, if you all plot the graph, you all will get something like this. Okay, P is inversely proportional to V or V is inversely proportional to P. So this is the graph that I obtained. Now Charles law in theory based on ideal gas, this is the graph that I get. But when I do the experiment, okay, when I do the experiment, maybe I'll get some different kind of graph, not that different also. Okay, I hope you are understanding the solid line that is there. It is the theoretical part, or I can say for an ideal gas. The dotted line that is there, it is what I've obtained experimentally for a real gas. So you can see the graphs are very close to each other. So it's okay, like it's acceptable. But the graph should not differ very much. Okay, like my ideal is something and in for the real gas, I'm getting something else only. That is not acceptable. If they are nearby, then it is acceptable. Okay. So when does this nearby condition occur? This nearby situation occurs when the temperature is high. Okay, fine. All right. So all the gas laws that are there, they will hold true for my real gases only at high temperature. Because at low temperatures, what happens? There is deviation happening. Maybe like for at low temperature, you all will get the graph maybe something like this. Okay, the real gas graph, which is not acceptable. So my graph has to be somewhat close to the ideal gas graph. Okay, so I can say that my real gases, they behave like ideal gases at high temperature. Okay, fine. And all the gas laws have been built upon ideal gases. They stand true or they hold true for my real gases only at high temperature. I hope you all are understanding what I'm trying to explain over here. Okay, so if you all understand this particular explanation, this paragraph is very easy to understand over here. This paragraph that is there. Okay, we'll read this as well, student, but I want you all to note down one statement before that. So what you all can write is okay, please note down, real gases behave like ideal gases. Real gases or real gas, okay, real gas behaves like an ideal gas at high temperature. Real gas behaves like an ideal gas at high temperature. Real gas behaves like an ideal gas at high temperature. Okay, then you all can write down one more point, that is at high temperature. This is another sentence, okay? At high temperature, gas laws. At high temperature, gas laws, okay, LAWS. At high temperature, gas laws holds true for all gases. At high temperature, gas laws holds true for all gases. Okay, it means the same, students. Okay, like real gas at high temperatures, they behave like ideal gases. Okay, so you all can keep that graph example in mind. All right, fine. And when you all do the experiment at low temperatures, you all will see that your graph is very much different than the ideal gas. So if you all want the gas laws to be applicable for your real gases as well, you all have to see to it that the temperature is high. Okay, fine. Now let us read what is written in this paragraph again. The laws of Boyle, Charles and Gay-Lussac are strictly valid for real gases only if the pressure of the gas is not too high and the temperature is not close to the liquefaction temperature of the gas. Now what is this liquefaction? Can anyone tell me? I think so you all have studied about this in your 11th standard. Yes, student, what is liquefaction?
Temperature at which gas turns into liquid.
Yes, see, correct, Yatish. See, liquefaction is when your gases, they turn into liquids. Okay, fine. So what you all can do is, there's no need to write it down. Okay, see, liquefaction is nothing but conversion of gases into liquids. Okay, fine. When can you all do this? Okay, when can we do this? By applying high pressure. It is a very basic concept, students. See, if you all will apply high pressure, the molecules will come close together. Gaseous molecules, they are far away from each other, right? But by applying pressure, if I try to bring them close, so by bringing them close, what is going to happen? There will be more and more intermolecular forces between them, right? So from gaseous phase, they slowly convert into a liquid phase. Okay, so for doing liquefaction, you all have to apply high pressure. At the same time, the temperature should be low, because if the temperature is high, then the molecules will move more here and there, which we don't want. Okay, like if I want to do liquefaction, what I'll do is I'll increase my pressure, so the molecules come together, they condense into liquid, and I have to reduce the temperature, or the temperature automatically becomes low. Okay, I hope you all are understanding this. So for real gases, only if the pressure of the gas is not too high. Because if the pressure is high, what will happen, students? The molecules will, see, what are real gases? When are the laws applicable on real gases? Only at high temperature. Why? Because at high temperature, real gases behave like ideal gases. And what is an ideal gas? What is the assumption of an ideal gas? There are no intermolecular forces at all in an ideal gas. Okay, fine. So if I am bringing the molecules close to each other, matlab intermolecular forces are there, right? So that is not acceptable. I have to keep the pressure low. Okay, so you can see the pressure is not too high and the temperature is not close to the liquefaction temperature of the gas. Okay, now see, students, related to liquefaction, there is a term called critical temperature. Okay, fine. I'll read it out for you all. But I think so you all have this concept in your 11th standard. You all can just go and check in your textbook once, in your chemistry textbook. Okay, so what is the critical temperature in terms of liquefaction? Critical temperature of a gas is the temperature at or above which no amount of pressure will cause the gas to liquefy. What you all can do is you all can note down this statement. Okay, somewhere maybe you're in your textbook only, write liquefaction and then in bracket write down critical temperature of a gas. Critical temperature of a gas is the temperature at or above which critical temperature of a gas is the temperature at or above which no amount of pressure will cause the gas above which no amount of pressure will cause the gas to liquefy. Liquefy. Okay, I'll repeat. Write liquefaction and in bracket write down critical temperature of a gas is the temperature at or above which no amount of pressure will cause the gas to liquefy. So if you all want to liquefy gases, okay, it has to be below that critical temperature. Once the critical temperature crosses No matter how much pressure you all will apply, you all cannot bring the molecules close to each other. Okay, fine. So for the laws to be applicable to my real gases, it is necessary that my real gases behave like ideal gases. Okay, they cannot be ideal gases because ideal gases does not exist. Okay, but they can behave like ideal gases, right? Meaning they should not have, or I can say very less intermolecular forces of attraction between the molecules. So I have to keep the pressure low. Secondly, the temperature should be not close to the liquefaction temperature of the gas. Okay, meaning the temperature has to be really high, because if the temperature is near to some liquefaction temperature, then there is a possibility that the molecules will come together and they'll condense, which we don't want. So we have to stay away from that liquefaction temperature. Like my temperature has to be away from that particular value. Okay, fine. All right, I hope you all are understanding. And a gas obeying the equation of state PV is equal to nRT at all pressures and temperature is called an ideal gas. Okay, so one more identification of an ideal gas is that it is going to obey the ideal gas equation for all temperature and pressure. Okay, so students, this particular equation, it is also known as equation of state. In fact, they have written over here in this yellow box, see what equation of state stands for. Okay, yeah, students, before I continue, there are only 3 minutes left for the first session to end. Okay, so everyone please see to it that you all rejoin. Okay, so what is equation of state? For a gas, its state is specified. Okay, the gaseous state is specified by a number of physical quantities such as pressure, temperature, volume, internal energy, etc. Hence, the equation that is relating all these quantities is known as equation of state. So in this scenario, our equation of state is nothing but the ideal gas equation, because it is relating the physical quantities pressure, volume, temperature of my gas. Okay, fine. Everyone, please let me know if you all have understood whatever I explained till now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
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 ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, fine. All the theory that I explained related to your ideal gas and real gas and everything, it is very much important, students. Then only you all will be able to easily understand statements like these. Okay. Now see, this one paragraph is something which is little difficult to understand just by reading. But till here, everything was very simple. Like you all can just simply read and understand because you all already know all these laws and everything. Okay, fine. But for this, to understand this particular part, you all should know that theory associated with it. Okay, fine. All right. So I hope you all have understood this.